was shopping with Liu Ruyan a week ago. When we passed by a jewelry store, Liu Ruyan suddenly grabbed me and said, "Why don't we get engaged?" She said it casually, and even her eyes stayed on the ring in the window. I had proposed marriage several times before, but he said to wait. Now he took the initiative to propose it. I was surprised and happy. I took her into the store at that time, picked out the ring, and then I was very excited. I asked colleagues and friends for experience wedding photography and wedding hotel shooting, and I wrote dozens of pages of documents just for homework. Before today, I thought I had grasped the stable happiness. Until just now, I couldn't help but want to take another look at the ring. But I accidentally found a thick stack of train tickets in the drawer of her bedside table, and I looked through them one by one. Those train tickets were all train tickets to and from Beijing, starting from the year Liu Ruyan went to college until this year. I can't count how many tickets there are. Some of them have a sentence or two written on the back. On the Mid-Autumn Festival of the freshman year, you and your roommates had dinner in the school's Fallen Street. It seems that you don't have a girlfriend yet. On the weekend before the exam week, no one supervised you to review. You played basketball all the time. You won't fail the exam. Maybe it's the last time to see you. Flipping through his treasured tickets, the memories of these years came to my mind. Liu Ruyan is a very rational girl, but I am an emotional person. I used to like to carefully put the movie tickets and performance tickets we watched together in a notebook. Later when I moved, I lost the notebook. I was sad for a long time. Liu Ruyan advised me at the time that if it was lost, it was lost. There was no need to keep it. Everything I should remember is in my mind. It was not until I saw those tickets that I realized that it was not his rationality, but that I was not worthy of being treated with care by him. He never remembers the anniversary of our love, nor my birthday, but he remembers which day that person took an exam or went on a business trip. I have always comforted myself that he is just like this by nature, not that he doesn't care about me, but now I just think I am ridiculous. I suddenly remembered what Liu Ruyan asked her when she first took me to meet her best friend. Have you really let go of Jia Xiaofeng? At that time I thought to myself that everyone has a past, and there is no need to hold on to it, but I didn't notice that Liu Ruyan bit her lips until they turned white. Turns out that he has never let me go, so why did he have to get engaged to me? I took a deep breath and put the stack of tickets back to where they were. I called the leader of the unit and asked him, "Manager Li, have you signed up for the maritime support this afternoon? If it is not full, I will go." Manager Li was stunned for a moment. His tone was full of relief. I was worried about this. Young people are afraid of hardship now. The heavy rain has not stopped yet, so many people dare not go. But I heard that you are going to get engaged. I can go without Manager Li. I agreed with some difficulty, fearing that I would lose my temper if I said one more word. I opened my phone and wanted to find him to ask about the ticket, but found that he last replied to my message 3 days ago. I calmed down instantly. It turned out that I talked to myself these days and discussed the details of the engagement with him, but he didn't reply to me even a word. I clicked on his moments and noticed that there was only one sentence in the background picture. Time is a train ticket to your side. My heart suddenly ached and I couldn't stand. He hadn't changed this picture in moments for all these years. I used to naively think that it was his implicit way of expressing his love for me. Now I understand the true meaning of this sentence. His desire to be with him has never changed. I took out the suitcase, numbly took a few clothes from the closet and threw them in. Just after packing a few clothes, Liu Ruyan's best friend called Liu Ruyan. She was poisoned and hospitalized. You should come and see her as soon as possible. I sent you the address of the hospital. A gentle male voice came faintly from the other end of the phone. Ruyan, don't be afraid. The voice was obviously very gentle, but I couldn't help shuddering. Liu Ruyan's best friend immediately hung up the phone. I went to the bathroom and poured cold water on my face to wake myself up. I drove more than 100 kilometers to arrive. Liu Ruyan was in the hospital. When I walked to the door of the ward, I heard several people chatting. Fortunately, Jia Xiaofeng was also here today. We were all scared to death just now, but why did you suddenly come back from Beijing? I knocked on the door, and the ward suddenly became quiet. Liu Ruyan was lying on the bed with her eyes closed, and her hand was tightly holding another man's hand. Shen Yuchu saw me coming and immediately whispered, "Ruyan Boda is here." But Liu Ruyan's hand did not loosen. She just slowly opened her eyes and glanced at me. They came again. Seeing this, the man next to her immediately took her in his arms and covered her eyes. It was an illusion. Ruyan, don't be afraid. Shen Yuchu was a little embarrassed and approached Liu Ruyan, whispering that it was not a green man, but a Boda. Then he explained to me that the mushrooms picked by Luing today were poisonous. Ruyan told me at the beginning that there were many little green men, and I thought he was teasing me. Look, I haven't recovered yet. Jia Xiaofeng, can you take me away? I'm so scared. There are ghosts here. They want to take me away. Liu Ruyan hugged Jia Xiaofeng's waist tightly. Everyone shook their heads helplessly. Jia Xiaofeng coaxed her patiently for a while, and Lu Yan lay back at ease, but they didn't let go of their holding hands. Shen Yuchu then introduced Jia Xiaofeng to me. Our high school classmates just came back from Beijing for vacation, and happened to catch up with our old classmates camping. Liu Ruyan was poisoned and had hallucinations. Don't take it to heart, don't take it to heart. I sneered. Liu Ruyan pursued Jia Xiaofeng for 3 years in high school, and never really let him go all these years. They obviously knew it, and now she asked me not to take it to heart, just to make me pretend that nothing happened. Jia Xiaofeng glanced at me, as if he was not listening to Shen Yuchu's introduction. My eyes returned to Liu Ruyan's face. When Shen Yuchu said that we were about to get engaged, Liu Ruyan suddenly raised her head and asked Yuchu, "Who are you talking to? Have you also seen a lot of cheating?" I subconsciously clenched my fists, and my fingers were deeply embedded in my palms. Liu Ruyan was poisoned. She knew Jia Xiaofeng and Shen Yuchu, but she couldn't recognize me. He never posted me on WeChat Moments, nor did he formally introduce me to his parents. I have wondered what I looked like in his memory. It turned out that I existed in his heart so imperceptibly, and I would forget it if I was not careful. He never had me in his heart. It's getting late and we should go. I'll leave the beating of Ruyan to you. Shen Yuchu gave everyone else a look, and they all prepared to leave. Jia Xiaofeng slowly pulled his hand out of Liu Ruyan's and said softly, "I'll come to see you tomorrow." But Liu Ruyan suddenly hugged his neck, her face full of panic, and said, "Are you going to leave me? I'm really scared. Can't you stay with me? Please, will the little green man take me away?" At that moment, the last line of defense in my heart collapsed. It turned out that he was not rational and indifferent, but I was not the person he wanted to rely on. Over the years, I confessed to him countless times when I was moved. I will always be his strong backing and he can rely on me for everything. But he always said that people are lonely after all, and it is better to be independent. He has never been weak in front of me, and the same goes for me. I had the flu and a fever of 40 degrees, but I just locked myself in myself, found medicine by myself, drank water by myself, and ordered takeout by myself. At the beginning, I always told him we quarreled, but later he compromised slowly. I thought he just wouldn't accept it because of family reasons. One day I will slowly warm him up, but today I completely understood. He just doesn't want to rely on me and doesn't want me to rely on him. I won't leave, I'll stay here with you tonight, you can rest assured, okay? Jia Xiaofeng patted Liu Ruyan's back, leaned over and put her head on the pillow, his eyes full of tenderness. The eyes of the people around me fell on my face. Jia Xiaofeng also asked for my opinion with a tentative look. I clenched my fists tightly, and the pain in my palms reminded me that all this was real. I stared at the two of them for a long time and finally squeezed out a bitter smile. "I'll pick you up tomorrow." But Liu Ruyan just stared at Jia Xiaofeng seriously, afraid that he would leave, and didn't even give me a glance. I bought a pack of cigarettes in the small shop at the entrance of the hospital, and smoked one after another leaning against the car door. 5 years of sincerity were fed to the dog. I am such a clown. At night the parking lot was a little cold, but I didn't know where to go. I looked through Liu Ruyan's various social media accounts, trying to find the slightest evidence that he had loved me, but I only saw that he hadn't used pictures for a long time. There was a new update on Weibo which said, "I won't wait anymore in 10 years. I'm going to marry someone else." My pupils kept trembling. I hesitated and clicked on the comments of that update. There was only a message from Jia Xiaofeng. "You dare." My head buzzed as if something had exploded. The air at night seemed particularly thin. I felt short of breath no matter how I breathed. A feeling of powerlessness spread throughout my body. I squatted on the ground with my head in my hands, tears streaming down my face. So that's it. It turned out that she wanted to get engaged to me just to stimulate that person. Liu Ruyan treated me as her last bargaining chip. If she couldn't get him to stay, she would just waste her life with me. No wonder he didn't even look at the dozen pages of homework documents I prepared. I was the only one who was full of joy and expectation. In the end, I didn't have the energy to be nice to him. I surrendered and admitted defeat. I just wanted to stay away and not have any contact with them anymore. Suddenly, a friend request popped up on my phone. It was Jia Xiaofeng. I hesitated again and accepted it. Soon, the other party sent me a few photos of Liu Ruyan sleeping soundly. She had fallen asleep. "Don't worry, you can bring some porridge to Liu Ruyan tomorrow. She is still recovering. It's other things that are hard for her to digest. She likes mushroom and chicken porridge, and she wants chopped green onions instead of shredded ginger." Jia Xiaofeng instructed carefully. A gust of night wind blew, and the tear marks on his face were cold. He was familiar with everything about Liu Ruyan, but I was like an outsider. "It's time to put an end to our relationship." I spent the night in the car. The next day, I gave Liu Ruyan a full clock as Jia Xiaofeng instructed. When I returned to the ward, Liu Ruyan had woken up. He and Jia Xiaofeng were chatting easily, but his face turned a little cold when he saw me come in. He could already recognize me, but what happened last night? As if nothing had happened, I handed the porridge to him. He frowned as soon as he took a bite. "Where did you buy the porridge?" there is no ginger in the chicken. It's too fishy. I just like it a little bit. I can't stand the smell. I took Liu Ruyan and pushed the porridge aside. I never ate it again. I smiled self-deprecatingly and said nothing. It turned out that we were not the right person. No matter how much I did, it would be in vain. After packing up and leaving the hospital on the way home, Liu Ruyan returned to her usual coldness. She closed her eyes all the way to rest. I didn't know what she was thinking. I didn't say anything else. When we were almost downstairs at home, he suddenly said, "Let's change the engagement banquet to the Blue Sea Hotel. I like the food there." I was stunned for a moment, thinking that it was like changing the venue temporarily. There were too many troubles involved, but I agreed in the end, because I knew that the Blue Sea Hotel was one of Jia Xiaofeng's family's industries. He did this just to tell Jia Xiaofeng that he didn't have many chances left for him. I didn't want to exposing him as like the last kindness to each other. The news on the radio broke the silence. The heavy rain still had a serious impact. Relevant organizations and companies were rushing to High City. The heavy rain, when will it stop? I whispered, and Liu Ruyan just lowered her head and flipped through her phone and said, "Manager Li is organizing people to participate in the rescue recently." I tentatively mentioned it, and I don't know who Liu Ruyan was chatting with. She chuckled and didn't listen to me. She is also someone I don't love anymore. Even if she is in front of me, I can't get into her heart. I wanted to tell him that I was going to do disaster relief, but I swallowed the words back when they came to my lips. It doesn't matter, it's just regretting the engagement. So let's give each other freedom. I didn't sleep all night downstairs in the hospital. I was exhausted and could fall asleep while sitting. Liu Ruyan was quite interested and wanted to go to Lanhai to finalize the dishes for the banquet. She had been a hands-off boss about these things before and never asked about them, but now she is abnormally concerned. I naturally understand what's going on. Because of the reason, I forced myself to accompany her to the Blue Sea, but when I parked the car and went to the hotel lobby, I didn't see Liu Ruyan. The lobby manager enthusiastically took the menu and introduced to me the signature dishes. "You just need to match them according to our budget. I won't look at the specific dishes." I was really tired. I asked about the location of the bathroom and wanted to wash my face. When I passed a private room, I heard two familiar voices. They were so impatient to talk. "I'll think about it again." "Who are you thinking about? You didn't treat me like this when you were poisoned. Yesterday you clearly stuck to me and hugged me and wouldn't let me leave. You also said that I was poisoned." I knocked on the door and called Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan was a little panicked and unhappy. "How did you find this place?" "I just happened to meet an old classmate." "Have you ordered the dishes?" I sighed softly. "Have you ordered them? I have a headache. I have to go back first. I came over to say hello to you." You can talk about Liu Ruyan, a little surprised. I didn't care at all. He came to find Jia Xiaofeng and Boda happened to be there. "I heard that your engagement party will be held in Lanhai. Since you like Lanhai, let me pay for the banquet. Liu Ruyan and I have known each other for so many years. I have to give him a big gift for his engagement." Jia Xiaofeng had a carefree smile on his face, and Liu Ruyan's face became even uglier. "Just you guys decide, it's up to me." I turned around and left with tired steps, but I heard the voice behind me getting smaller and smaller. "Jia Xiaofeng, what do you mean?" On the way home, I was so tired that I fell asleep while waiting for the traffic light, until I was driven a few hundred meters by the car behind me, and accidentally rear-ended the car in front. By the time I had dealt with the insurance and sent the car for repair, it was already dark when I got home. "Why did you come back so late?" The takeaway I ordered was cold. Liu Ruyan was sitting at the dining table with a steak exam book and 2 glass goblets filled with red wine. There was a heart in the middle of the table-shaped cake. "Happy birthday." Liu Ruyan congratulated me with a smile. "We have been together for 5 years. This is the first time Liu Ruyan celebrated my birthday, but I have no appetite at the moment, thank you. But I am a little tired. You eat it yourself. What's wrong with you?" Liu Ruyan grabbed me and noticed the wound on my face. "Who made you like this?" She looked anxious and hurried to look through the medicine box. She held my face and blew on the wound like coaxing a child. "Does it hurt?" "It's okay if you don't blow. It will hurt a little when you blow." I pushed her away and went into the bathroom. She stood there in a daze for a long time without moving, and when I returned to the bedroom, Liu Ruyan followed in. "Are you mad at me? Jia Xiaofeng and I are just old classmates. Please don't think too much. Okay, I specially prepared a birthday dinner for you today. Don't you even want to honor me?" Liu Ruyan's tone was soft. He has never spoken to me like this. "The birthday on my ID card is wrong. My real birthday is 1 month before. You forgot when we first got together." He always liked to calculate the zodiac sign and asked me several times what my zodiac sign was. He said that Cancer men are family-oriented and are ideal partners. I was quite happy. A few months ago, he studied astrology and asked about my birthday again. I knew that he had never been sad. "Liu Ruyan, I stayed downstairs in the hospital all night yesterday, and I had a car accident today. Now I really just want to sleep. Can you let me rest for a while?" Liu Ruyan opened her mouth but didn't know what to say. In the end, she just quietly left the bedroom. When I woke up in the middle of the night because of hunger, Liu Ruyan was beside me, sleeping soundly with her back to me. I got up and tiptoed out of the room trying to find some food to eat, but saw that the food on the dining table was long gone. They were intact and lying quietly in the trash can. I let out a long sigh, sympathizing with their fate and also sympathizing with myself. His thoughtfulness was ultimately unworthy of me. When I woke up the next day, Liu Ruyan was no longer at home. Manager Li called and said that the flight to High City has not been restored yet. We can only fly to a nearby city and then take a car to High City. We have to set off early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is a good day. It is the day that Liu Ruyan and I are scheduled to get engaged. My suitcase is spread out on the floor of the study. As long as Liu Ruyan stays at home for a while, he will find out that I am leaving, but he didn't. Most of the clothes in my closet for the season have been put into the suitcase. As long as Liu Ruyan takes the clothes and takes a closer look, he will find out that I am leaving, but he didn't. He doesn't love me that much. This matter is so obvious, but I didn't find it early. Liu Ruyan didn't contact me all day, and the makeup artist couldn't be contacted. He called to ask me if the arrangements for the next day were the same. I told him that everything was the same. It was not until 11 o'clock at night that Liu Ruyan sent me a message. Yuchu is drunk. I am at his house. I will tell you more later. I sneered. Couldn't he just be serious with me for a bit? Shin Yuchu is allergic to alcohol. He never drinks alcohol in any occasion these years. Every time we eat together, Liu Ruyan will remind me to order a juice for Shan Yuchu alone. How could he drink too much? I opened the circle of friends and saw only 9 new pictures posted by Jia Xiaofeng. If we can make up for the fragments we have missed, will the ending be different? The Ferris wheel cinema, the milk tea shop at the gate of the high school, and Liu Ruyan's itinerary for the day are all in his circle of friends. Although Liu Ruyan did not show her face, the two of them were holding hands in the photo, and they were wearing the ring I gave them. Many friends who mocked Liu Ruyan left messages below saying, "Brother Xiaofeng finally made a move. Am I going to witness a miracle? Oh my god, what earth-shattering secret are you guys doing? Is it what I imagined? I thought the expired candy was resurrected." Jia Xiaofeng also replied, "Am I too slow? I don't know." Wondering if it would be too late, I clicked like, and turned off my phone. My hearing became particularly sharp at night, and I could detect any slight movement. After the cat upstairs scratched the floor 4 times, the sky gradually brightened, but Liu Ruyan never came back. What was I expecting? I smiled self-deprecatingly and took a taxi to the airport just after dawn. Liu Ruyan just sent me a message in the middle of the night, telling me that it was not what I thought and that he would explain to me later, but it didn't matter anymore. Before boarding the plane, I wanted to call Liu Ruyan to say goodbye, but he hung up 3 times in a row. When I got on the plane, he called me back. His voice was very low on the phone, as if he was afraid of disturbing others. "Boda, don't get me wrong, the situation is rather special. I can't explain it to you clearly at the moment. It's okay. Are you angry? Do you have to be angry with me now? I've told you, I'll explain to you later. No need, you can go to the hotel first. I might be late." "Liu Ruyan, I'm leaving." "What do you mean, Boda?" I took a deep breath. "I can only accompany you here. Let's break up." The flight attendant reminded me that the plane was about to take off. I hung up the phone with an apology and turned off the phone. I thought I would be relieved, but the word breakup was so heavy to say. I put on my hat, turned my face away and pretended to be asleep, but tears ran down my cheeks and wet one side of the collar. When the plane landed in the city next to Haishur, Liu Ruyan's messages flooded into my phone like a tide, but I didn't want to read any of them. The person in charge of the on-site arrangement called me and finally got through. "Brother, I have never seen people like you. The 2 newlyweds who broke the contract on the day of the engagement could not be contacted. I tell you that for people like you, the deposit will definitely not be refunded. The other party has not contacted anyone all morning, and is now very angry. I'm sorry, the money will not be less. Thank you for troubling you." Hearing that there would be no default on the debt, the other party calmed down. "Brother, you are arguing. Auntie, your wife won't answer the phone either. I'm so anxious." The guests have all left. It turns out that Liu Ruyan has also regretted the engagement. For Jia Xiaofeng, she didn't even go to our engagement scene. If I hadn't found that stack of tickets in advance, I would be the one being laughed at like a clown in the county town. The bus took us into Haishur. The rainstorm and hurricane destroyed some of the communication equipment in the city. The mobile phone signal gradually lost. We were placed in a school stadium. There was no water or electricity, and the living conditions were really difficult. During the day, my colleagues and I went out in the heavy rain to check the problematic communication equipment. At night, we changed our wet clothes and spread sleeping bags on the floor of the stadium to sleep. "You are missing home, right? You young people have never suffered such hardship." A local colleague who participated in the rescue and reconstruction asked me. "I realize that I have been in Haishur for many days, but I don't feel it's hard. There is a pile of work waiting for me every day when I open my eyes, and I can fall asleep as soon as I close my eyes without hearing the thunder." The physical fatigue made my tense nerves completely relax. Today, some citizens came to the gymnasium spontaneously to bring us food. For generations of a family, Grandma and the whole family came to the battle and gave hot steamed buns to everyone. When a little boy stuffed the steamed bun into my hand, he quietly took out a piece of candy from his pocket. The mother said that you saved us, and we want to give you the best things. The child's mother sprinkled the candy with some reluctance. This is the last one, it's very sweet for you. I touched the child's head, pushed the candy aside and stuffed it into his mouth. At that moment my nose was sour. There are many people in this world who will repay your efforts. There are many people in this world who deserve to be loved. Why should I care about those who don't? Is it the effort to get somewhere? It's just to change someone's love. The communication facilities covering the stadium area were repaired on the day I called Manager Lee. Manager Lee was very pleased to hear about our progress. I thought you would turn around and come back. Manager Lee looked down on me. Manager Lee laughed awkwardly a few times and said cautiously, I heard about your engagement. Your wife couldn't find you, so she called to ask me where you were. I saw that he was really anxious, so I told him the address of our support team. I was stunned. I didn't expect Liu Ruyan to look for me everywhere. After exchanging a few words with Manager Lee, I hung up the phone. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind me. Berta, I finally found you. Then the woman rushed over regardless of anything, hugged my waist tightly, and buried her head in my chest. Do you know how scared I am? The day before yesterday, the news said that some of the supporters had a car accident and even people the car rolled over the cliff. I'm so worried about you. I'll regret it when I think about losing you forever. Liu Ruyan was wearing a white dress, which was out of place with the muddy staff in the gymnasium. I gently pushed her away. I was dirty, but she hugged me tighter. What are you doing here? Liu Ruyan looked up at me, and I saw her face full of tears. She let me go and took out a pillow, a mask and pajamas from the two big bags behind her. The conditions are too bad. Will I not be able to sleep well? She glanced at my dirty sleeping bag and hesitated for a long time. She never gave up and put the pillow on the sleeping bag. Let's go back quickly. The heavy rain in High City has not stopped yet. It's not safe. I know you are still worried about me and you still love me. Let's not break up, okay? Liu Ruyan pleaded. No, I mean you are of no use here, and you may be a burden to everyone. Go back early if you're okay. I passed by her, I took down a less wet piece of clothing from the clothesline hanging indoors and put it on, and then hung up the clothes I had taken off, then followed my colleague out of the gymnasium in the rain, ignoring him. When it was dark, I returned to the gymnasium again, dirty and wet. Liu Ruyan was gone, and all my dirty clothes disappeared with her. On a small chair, there was a pile of brand new clean clothes and socks neatly stacked. You are a great girlfriend, gentle and considerate. You even followed me to the disaster relief site. He must love you very much, my colleague teased. I picked up 2 clean clothes and handed them to my colleague. She was my ex-girlfriend. The next morning, Liu Ruyan appeared at the door of the gymnasium again. He held me and said he wanted to talk. Yes, I admit that I liked Jia Xiaofeng for many years, but I am sincere to you. That day I promised him to be a lover for a day, and I also wanted to draw a line in the past. Period, and then be with you without regrets, but later Jia Xiaofeng was in a bad mental state. He said that he was about to suffer from depression. I was worried that something would happen to him, so I missed the engagement ceremony. I looked at the big dragon in the rain and fog in the distance and smiled bitterly. Liu Ruyan used to be a fat girl. When I met him, he was treating bulimia. He said that because the person he liked disliked him for being fat, he always went on a diet, but the symptoms always recurred after dieting. Once we were in a fast food restaurant and her bulimia came on. She stuffed chicken legs and French fries into her mouth like crazy, crying while eating, saying that her life was terrible. I felt so distressed that I held her hand and told her that she was a very good girl and I liked fat people too. This went on for a year before she completely accepted herself and quit bulimia. It was also after that I started to take her running until she could wear her favorite skirt again. I used to be the umbrella she had held. She turned around and gave it to someone else, leaving me alone in the rain. I'm sorry, I said. I'm really sorry. When I knew I couldn't contact you, I was going crazy. At that moment I really made a wish. If anything happens, please let me take the responsibility, not you. I looked at Liu Ruyan blankly without a wave of emotion in my heart. The explanation is over. Can I leave now? I said. You have no feelings for me at all, Liu Ruyan shouted then. Squatted down and started crying. I habitually wanted to reach out and touch her head. My hand reached halfway, but I couldn't do it. I turned and walked into the rain. Tears and rain mixed on my face. Why did you love me? Why did you wait until my heart was broken before you loved me? For more than half a month, I still went in the wind and rain every day. Liu Ruyan was also very stubborn. She came to pack my clothes and bring me food every day. Once I occasionally heard he called others and said, "Don't scare me with depression anymore. Take medicine when you need to, see a doctor when you need to. I am not your medicine. You have hurt me so much." He refused to forgive me and asked her to stop calling me. But when she saw me, Liu Ruyan would force out a smile as if nothing had happened. That day, several large trucks suddenly arrived outside the gymnasium. The workers unloaded a lot of daily necessities, including food, clothes, generators, etc. The quality of life of the rescue workers was instantly improved. I heard that dozens of trucks were carrying food and sent a dozen to the central square of High City. I only found out that these things were donated by the Liu Group. The Liu Group had no business in High City at all, and even had no connection with High City. The only way to donate so many supplies at this time was that Liu Ruyan asked the Liu family for it. My colleague helped me get a new raincoat and rain boots. I walked through the crowd staring at Liu Ruyan's figure. Her face was very pale and she had lost weight. She had indeed suffered a lot for me. I didn't even know how she had been living in Haishur these days, whether she had eaten enough or slept well. Thinking of this, my heart softened and I walked towards him, but he suddenly covered his mouth and walked out the door. I quickly followed him, only to see him standing in the corner outside the door, holding the wall with one hand, bending over and vomiting. Liu Ruyan, what's wrong with you? He turned to look at me, his face full of panic. Did you eat something bad or catch a cold? I supported him and patted his back gently. This was the first time in a while that I had said words of concern, but he didn't show a trace of happiness. Instead, he panicked and pushed me away. What's wrong with you? He didn't say anything, but just bit his lips until they turned white. An idea suddenly popped up in my mind, and my back instantly felt cold and I also felt sick. I felt sick to my stomach and took a step back subconsciously. But Liu Ruyan came forward and held my hand. I'm sorry, I didn't know this would happen. The 3 words, I'm sorry, exploded in my mind like a thunderclap. My hands could not help but tremble. I'm sorry that day he said he couldn't live without me and asked me to hug him, to leave him some memories no matter what. I didn't know how to save you later. Stop it, I yelled and scared Liu Ruyan so much that she trembled all over. Don't say it anymore. I numbly repeated these 2 sentences and turned away. In fact, I had expected that he didn't come home that night because he was with Jia Xiaofeng. But when the truth appeared so bloody in front of me, I still collapsed. I couldn't accept it. My fiancé had sex with another man on the eve of our engagement, and she was pregnant with someone else's child, but she still came to beg me to get back together. I actually still felt sympathy for her. I was so pitiful, sad and ridiculous. I can give up her for you. Liu Ruyan's voice came from behind. As long as you speak, his voice was so firm, as if he had done me a great favor. What does it have to do with me? I walked into the rain for the first time. The rainstorm in Sea Lion finally stopped, and the rescue team finally moved out of the gymnasium. I got along with my colleagues in Sea Lion for a while. They admired my technical level very much. Manager Li asked to second me to Maritime and arranged a deputy manager position for me. It was a rare opportunity and I had a good impression of Maritime, so I stayed. I rented a house and went to the supermarket to buy some daily necessities. In the supermarket, a beautiful girl followed me all the way. Hesitant to talk, I smiled and greeted her. What's the matter? The girl was a little panicked. She asked Boda carefully. I looked carefully at the person in front of me. I thought of the girl, but I didn't remember having seen such a beautiful girl before. I didn't recognize her. She was the one who bandaged your wound in Lion Mountain in childhood. Only then did I connect the girl in front of me with the person with mud on her face whom I met before in Lion Mountain. At that time, I didn't need to go to the repair shop to inspect the equipment, but the operator caught a cold and had a fever that day, so I had to go up by myself. As a result, I slipped and bled a lot. It was a volunteer passing by. I was afraid that I would bleed on Lion Mountain. Are you healed? I'm not professional either, and I won't leave you any sequelae. If there are any sequelae, it's your fault. I was joking, but my face suddenly turned red when I mentioned Tong Yen. Later, Tong Yen became my guide in High City. I ate and drank with my accomplices, and my life in High City was quite comfortable. A few months later, I was contacting a repair shop to ship my car to High City, and Shin Yuchu suddenly called me. I called and said, Liu Ruyan's condition is very bad. Will you come back to see her? I was stunned. If she is not in good condition, she can go to the doctor. It is not appropriate to go to her family or boyfriend, but not her ex-boyfriend. Shin Yuchu was a little anxious. You know, she only trusts you. When she was sick before, it was you who accompanied her through it. She doesn't trust others at all. Boda, please come and see her for the sake of your old relationship. She now locks herself in your room every day and doesn't see anyone. Uncle and Aunt Liu are so anxious. Aunt pulled me and cried all night yesterday, saying that Liu Ruyan heard the door open one day and thought it was you who came back. She went out barefoot and smiled to greet you, but she returned to her room disappointed and cried. Please persuade her. It is not good for the child. I said calmly. The child. Shin Yuchu hesitated. Don't you know that the child is gone a long time ago? Liu Ruyan came back from High City without telling anyone. Go and get rid of the child yourself. Then Jia Xiaofeng must take care of him. Don't mention that scumbag Jia Xiaofeng. I heard that Liu Ruyan got rid of the child and turned back to Beijing. It is said that he has a new girlfriend. He also told his friends that it was a good thing that Liu Ruyan got rid of the child, otherwise, He would be tied to a woman for the rest of his life. Liu Ruyan's life was ruined by him. Shen Yuqiu kept scolding Jia Xiaofeng on the phone, but I didn't hear a word. When you covered for them, you didn't have this attitude. I interrupted Shen Yuqiu. Liu Ruyan chose her own way. I even gave her many chances, but she didn't look back. Now I have my own life, you take care of him. I hung up the phone after that. I didn't want to hear any news about Liu Ruyan again. Or at the post-disaster reconstruction commendation meeting, Tong and we were on stage together to receive an award that year. When no one was paying attention, he hooked my hand behind my back. We only had the knife and fork left, and we looked quite a good match. I glanced at him, and he had a serious look on his face, as if nothing had happened. When we were leaving the stage, I took advantage of the fact that no one was seeing us backstage, and picked him up, then gently touched her, kissed her, and quickly put her down. We were indeed quite a good match, and it was just right to hug her and kiss her. I laughed and said that childhood was angry and embarrassed, and chased me and beat me all the way. What if someone saw us? Why did you want to hide from everyone? Half a year later, childhood and I planned the wedding together. From the hotel wedding to my bow tie and socks, childhood was very attentive. I advised her not to be nervous, as she was sure that she would not be able to take care of all the details. However, he was very serious and repeatedly finalized all the details with me. We even tried more than a dozen kinds of wedding candies before we decided. He said that marriage is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so it should be taken seriously. Then he took away the milk tea in front of me and asked me to keep a good figure. I was made to laugh and cry by him, but I was very happy. I knew that he cared about the wedding and me very much, so he was so nervous. On the wedding day, I received a courier package. The courier said that it must be opened in person. I hesitated for a moment and opened the paper bag. There was a stack of ticket stubs in it. Each one was from Liu Ruyan City to High City and back. I glanced at the date. It turned out that he came to High City almost every week. There was a sentence written on the back of the last ticket which said, "This is the last time to see you. I wish you a happy wedding." I stuffed the ticket back into the envelope, turned around and threw it into a nearby trash can. Someone asked me what it was. I touched his head. It was some recyclable paper garbage. There are not so many reunions in life. What you missed is missed. The full text is over. Remember to like and follow.